Hey you! Do you have art block, writer's block, can't come up with ideas, or feel like you're generally stuck in a rut? Let's break that block by changing our context. Come draw with me while we talk about how to shake our brains awake. I'm currently catching up on doodling every letter of the alphabet, and I decided to change my context to help break my perfectionism and overthinking. So what do I mean by change context? First, let's get on the same page about our brains. Our brains are really good at picking up patterns and learning routines. Our brains are trying to, first and foremost, keep us alive. That means they're looking for what's dangerous and for what's safe. Way back in the day, it was about which berries were poisonous or edible. But now, our brains haven't quite caught up to our new cushy lifestyles where things are much more safe than they used to be. This means that our brains learn what contexts are safe or dangerous as we experience life. And it means our brains really love doing the safe routines all the time. It's part of why forming new habits can be hard. Because our brain is like, no, we are surviving doing this routine. Why would you ever change that? It could be dangerous. When we feel and recognize that we're in a rut, whether that's art block, writer's block, or a life routine that's just unfulfilling in some way, it's time to change our context. And we can do that in many ways. At work, most of my good ideas did not happen in the office. The office is where we had long meetings, answered emails, and people would constantly interrupt each other. And after sitting in the same seat doing the administrative junk every day for years, my brain had a hard time thinking of the weird, out-of-the-box fun stuff, which was the main part of my job, in the office. My brain learned that walking into the office was a one-way ticket to boring as hellville, and that railroad track could not be diverted. So what do? We seek out novelty. If possible, change your physical location. I would work at different coffee shops. We had a rooftop area at one job, so sometimes I'd go up there. Or if there was an open seat in a different part of the office, I'd go sit in that seat. When I was desperate, I would work in my car in the parking garage. I don't recommend it in the summertime. My copywriting partner and I would also go on walks around the neighborhood near our office. If you work from home, sit on the floor. Sit in a different corner of your room. Use a different chair or a balance ball. Stand instead of sit. And if you're stuck in a rut that has nothing to do with offices or work, do anything different. Walk around outside if you're inside a lot. Drive a different route to the grocery store. Go to a different coffee shop or gas station. Our brains need to be diverted off their railroad tracks for us to get that kick of novelty. When we take our brains out of their usual context, we force the brain to form new connections, and we actually start to see things differently. And don't worry, you can change your context without changing physical location. It's really about the novelty. I started doing this 36 days of type Instagram challenge specifically so I could get myself out of a creative rut. But I couldn't guarantee that I could change my physical location. I missed being able to doodle and create without the stress of needing to please clients, meet an insane deadline, or following someone else's brand guidelines. Of course, I still slightly overcomplicated the art challenge for myself because instead of doing each letter of the alphabet, I had the idea that each letter should also have a phrase that goes with it about life lessons that adults need to learn. That was my own problem. I call it the alternate alphabet for adults, and that's what I'm currently drawing in this Draw With Me video. But to capture that mental headspace of doodling, I decided to use brushes and color palettes that looked like the markers, pens, and highlighters I would use in grade school. You know, when I was trapped in a boring morning class and needed to stay awake to avoid detention. I also added the notebook paper background. Changing my art supplies to recreate that context of when I used to be able to free-form doodle has really helped my brain to not overthink as much and not expect perfection. You can do this too. If you usually write digitally, go analog with pens and pencils. Write or draw with your non-dominant hand. If you love using brush and ink pens, try watercolors or pencil or charcoal or crayon. If you've never tried art at all, give it a go. Get cheap watercolors and just play with them. If you wear the same shoes or jacket, try wearing something different. Eat something different for breakfast. Listen to a new genre of music. Feed your brain with novelty by changing something about your environment. Novelty helps create new memories and helps your brain form new and different connections. Novelty and new experiences give your brain food to fuel its creativity. So TLDR, if you're in a rut, stuck, have artist or writer's block, look at your routines and where you go on autopilot. Then change your context to wake your brain up and feed that creativity with novelty. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and hope you come back. Let me know how you change up your context to get your brain to wake up. We all need as many tips and advice as we can get. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, do the whole thing, and good luck, have fun, and get weird.